very much for coming out to this incredible evening. Once in a lifetime experience. I'm glad we could share it with you tonight.
Not only have you guys never played here, you're playing the Acropolis. They're gonna lose their minds.
Oh my God, look at that. What?
There could be kind of a wall thing if you guys...
Roger Waters is gonna be pissed when he sees this.
Go.
Matt Medved here with Billboard. We are here with Chad Smith, the drummer for the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the host of Landmarks Live in Concert. Give it up for Chad, guys.
How are you, Matt?
I'm great, I'm great. You know, I had a chance to watch the full Foo Fighters special before I came here, and it's really impressive what you guys were able to pull off.
Well, you know, look at these guys. I mean, hairy, scary rock people. The hammer of the gods came down at the Acropolis. Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, we had an opportunity to go to Athens, Greece, where the Foo Fighters had never played in Greece at all. That was the one thing that was really cool. It was their first time there for the nice Greek people. And then to play this venue at the Acropolis, which is 2,500 years old. Pretty old. I mean, I'm old, but that's really old. And no other major rock band has ever played there. I think maybe Elton John had played a few acoustic numbers there. No offense to Yanni, for you Yanni fans, but no rock band, no big loud rock band like the mighty Foo Fighters. So I just thought it was a perfect fit to have them. They're my friends. I've known them for a long time. We played together. Taylor's the godfather of my middle child, the poor kid. Tortured. No, it's great. So we're friends, and it was easy, and just a lot of fun and great energy. And I think the people that came to the concert felt that it was as well. You know, it's a really special, magical night, and also that was not, you know, the band, of course, as well. They were like, as you saw in the clip, they're like, oh my God, look at this thing, you know. So it made for some really, I thought, a great show.
Absolutely, and you know, I'd love to dig a little bit into that backstory. How did you first meet Dave Grohl and the rest of the band? You know, you guys have been friends for a long time, right?
Yeah, I met Dave. I saw Dave play before he was in Nirvana with the Chili Peppers. We did a show on the steps of God in L.A. I'm trying to remember the steps of downtown City Hall or something. We were doing a Rock the Vote, or it was a long time ago, 1990, I think. And he was playing with L7, this band from Seattle, a long time ago. And I was like, that kid's pretty good on the drums. Yeah, he's not bad. And then fast forward a year later in Nirvana, and we were on a tour, and it was Pearl Jam was the opening band for their first record. Nirvana played before us, and then the Chili Peppers. On the West Coast, we did a tour at the very end of 1991, actually New Year's Eve as well. That's a pretty good bill. Not bad. Not bad for like $24. But that's when Nirvana was like blowing up, and it was really exciting. And then so Dave and I became friends then, and fast forward to 1999, they toured with us and the Foo Fighters. We did a lot of touring in the States and Australia together. We played together many times, so I've known these guys. You know, we have a nice history, and so it was an easy. You know, I always knew I wanted to have them on the show, and then when the Acropolis came up, I was like, yeah, I think this would be great. They were at the end of a European tour, and they were so gracious enough to add this show, and I think, you know, I think they were glad they did it. We had a great time. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you know, I was reading, you know, this really was in many ways unprecedented. You know, to do, I was reading it took 180 different permits to get. They had 400 different security personnel.
I had to grease a lot of the Greek people, the greasing of the grease. That's how it works over there in Greece. Cash is king everywhere. But no, yeah, there was, you know. because it's such a storied, iconic venue, and it's so old, and they're like, a rock band, you know, is just going to fall down, or you know, who knows? But there were lots of permits, lots of security, you know, that sort of thing. And the way the world is these days, those things are important. But you know, once they said yes to it, we just did everything we could to really make it something special, and for people to get to really feel like they're part of the, not only the concert, but the other part of the show is the cultural experience as well. And lucky for me, I get to go around and talk to people that know a lot about Greek history. I kind of skipped that one in high school. I was like, I think I took a nap in Greek history for some reason. But you know, I'm with the culture of, the Minister of Culture, and telling me, we're walking around the Parthenon, I think you saw, and she's telling me all about, you know, it's really the beginning of a lot of things in Western civilization. You know, 3,400-year-old city. So things that we sort of take for granted these days happened in Greece and happened in Athens, and you know, they had the Acropolis theater was. You know, there was things like they would do these plays and very thought-provoking things at the time about the political climate at the time. The Supreme Court that we use today in our democracy started in Greek way back when. Those kind of things. They were such an important part of history. You know, I would call it like the Big Bang of Western civilization. So I got to go and experience some of that and talk to people that knew what they were talking about, and I got a nice lesson, and I walked around flea markets and just taking in the culture. Dave and I went on a little boat ride. We hit a nude beach. That's a whole nother special. And then
I was gonna say, I didn't think I saw that part in the.
That's you know, when they like the DVDs, they have little eggs. You can like, you know, when that comes out later. Spent a lot of time at the nude beach. It was awesome, and and then you know, Poseidon's, you know, the ruins of Poseidon. Like, oh, just like pretty cool. Yeah.
I was in Greece a couple of years ago and had the pleasure of visiting the site, and it's incredible.
Nude beach, Matt. Did you hit it?
No, not the nude beach.
Okay.
The Acropolis. I missed that. You know, I'll have to go back for that one.
It is another landmark.
But you know, I imagine that, you know, after months and months of planning, to have this actually come together and to be in that site and to see you know, a band like the Foo Fighters play, it must have been an incredible experience. Can you maybe take us back, kind of relive what your thoughts were when you watched them take the stage?
You know, it's interesting because it's the thing about the show. Partly is that being a performer and a musician as artist myself, I relate to obviously playing concerts and going places and doing new things and talking to these guys, and they were kind of like, you know, some of them were like, well, what is it? Like when you're on tour, you just kind of go and you just tell me where to go, where to be, when we're in the lobby, and go to the van and go to the gig. and I'm like, well, we're playing, you know, this is really, sounds cool, you know. But Dave and I are in the van on the way, and they hadn't been there yet. And you know, whenever you perform, you want to do your best and play as well as you can, and it's really important. But you add this historical element. They've never played in Greece before, so the first time for Greek people to see you. I know as a performer, when you play somewhere new that you've never played, been a band a long time, Foo Fighters as well. It's you really want to, like, you know, do your thing and do it well, right? So you sort of, all those things you add, and of course we're filming it, so there's a little added, I don't want to say pressure, but you know, it makes it extra special. And once we got there, you know, and it was in the daytime when we showed up for sound check, and I'm standing on the stage, and I think you saw on the thing with Taylor, and we're looking behind us, and you look out, and the thing that was interesting to me, I thought, you know, the Acropolis is this place, historical place, like the Olympics and all these crazy things that happened, and people got fed to the lions or something. I'm not really sure, but anyway, lots of historical, pretty old. And I thought it was this big stadium. It's actually 5,000 seats. It's not really huge. It's pretty small. as far as venues go. So it's more intimate, which added another special thing that people, and often venues now they're very spread out. This was like the stage a little bit in front, and then it was kind of this straight up. So these people are like right there, and you'll see Dave talks about on stage. He's like, Foo Fighters have done some crazy shows in 20 years, but this is probably the craziest one. And you look out from behind him, and I'm standing behind Taylor, who's the drummer, and I'm looking out, and you see the people, and then at the very top, over the crest of the top of the arena, there's the Parthenon like lit up, and you're like, oh yeah, this is not just the whiskey go-go on a Tuesday night. I love the whiskey, but yeah, different thing. So all those things contributed to, I think, to the band feeling like this is something really special, and they're like my brothers. I'm really happy for them, and I think it went really well. So, yeah.
I was reading that even in like the hours leading up to the show, they were still trying to make sure they had the clearances to get the fans where they were and all that. Were there ever a point throughout the process where the outcome was in doubt, where you weren't sure if you were going to be able to make it happen?
If it was kept from me. No, everything went great. It went without a hitch, and the fans got in there, and I think they enjoyed themselves.
One thing that's really cool about the whole Landmarks Live in Concert series is just being able to create these special moments that haven't really been realized before. And it seems like this one might be a tough one to top. But I'd be curious to hear what else you kind of have, maybe what you're thinking in terms of future venues and future landmarks that might make sense.
Matt, you asked the good questions. So I'm going to have to ask you the question back. Where would you like to see artists or bands play? Or maybe we can put this to the audience for a little bit later. Mm-hmm. Where, because, it's on PBS and which is great because they support the arts and music and everything is so we can kind of get to places maybe where other people can't. But that was the thing with the show. My friend Dan, who I've known, who's done a lot of. He's the brainchild of him and his show, and I've worked with him before, and he came up to me and said, I'm thinking about doing this show where iconic bands, legendary bands or artists get to play iconic, legendary landmarks anywhere in the world. I'm like, that sounds pretty good. I'm all right. Do you want to go and talk to him? I'm like, sure. You want to go? Yeah, sure. I like to travel. And I like music, and I like, that just appealed to me. And I've never done anything like this. And I was kind of like, is it like a game show? Like, am I going to be like, let's make a deal? He's like, no, you're going to talk to these people and also experience some of the culture. And the thing that's been really rewarding for me that I didn't expect was that I'm not a journalist. I'm a musician, artist. And so I'm talking to people, my peers or people that do the same thing that I do, and so they feel maybe a little bit more comfortable that I get what they're doing. We have similar, experiences, and so there's a different rapport. Obviously I know these guys, but other artists like Alicia Keys, who's here in New York. We did a show with her in Harlem at the Apollo Theater, and also the Circle Line. She went on this. She always wanted to as a kid. She grew up in Harlem. She always wanted to go on the Circle Line, but she couldn't afford it. It was like, it was a big deal. And when we said, oh, okay, how about you invite a bunch of fans last minute, and she was like, oh my God, you're kidding me, really? And then she played the Apollo as well, which is, she'd been there as a kid. And I don't know any people that I don't know if you know the history of the Apollo. There's a wood stump that every performer rubs for good luck. Go on stage. Everyone from Michael Jackson to James Brown to you name it, who's ever played that, you rub the stump many times if possible. And she was like, that was amazing. And so that's a place, it meant something to her now because she grew up, but she had history there. And that's one aspect of the show. And then there's also, like the Foo Fighters in the Acropolis, it's like, I don't think there are any Greek maybe Dave shortened his name to Dave Grolopoulos or something. Maybe that's his full name. I'm not sure. But there's no, there's no connection with them. No one's from there or anything. But again, the venue is so iconic. So those are kind of the different ways to approach a show. And we'll see in the future if there's, I'd love to have, you guys are pretty young, but Spinal Tap play at Stonehenge. I think that would be good, right? Yeah. That's the easy one. Don't want it to fall on them. Yeah, but yeah, we'll figure it out, man. But yeah, there's more shows that are coming out, and we did the Kings of Leon, and they're from Memphis. They were born there, and they grew up there for some time, and they played the Beale Street Festival there. And then the cool thing for me is, again, as a musician, I get to go and play drums at Sun Studios, and I went to Graceland, I got a tour, and the Martin Luther King Museum, which was really amazing. I mean, these cultural things that are very important to these cities, and that's part of the whole cultural aspect of it. And then, of course, they perform. I get to talk to them, and so that's coming up. And some other ones we got going, stuff next year. And yeah.
The pyramids immediately come to mind as a potential landmark, although I imagine there'd be some security issues associated with that location as well.
Sorry, who?
Oh, the pyramids.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. Who do you think should play the pyramids?
Iron Maiden.
Oh, right.
Power Slave.
Metal. It's a metalhead. Yeah. I mean, Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China, place the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. There's lots of places. Cuba, there's lots of places to go. So we may go into outer space. Who knows? Yeah. And, who should be the first band to play on the moon? Chili Peppers. We do that. We did that last night, actually. We try. That's what we shoot for. Shoot for the moon every time.
Talk a little bit about the event last night. I know we chatted about it in the back room.
Yeah. Oh, we played a Stand Up for Heroes concert that they have every year here, and it's at the smaller venue at Madison Square Garden, and it benefits the families of our great armed forces, and there was a lot of comics, and then the Chili Peppers were the comic relief at the end. Yeah. Told some jokes, played a couple songs. No, it was great. Seriously, it's a real honor to be part of that. It's an important thing, and those kind of things are important to us. And when you can help, why not? Bruce Springsteen done it quite a bit. So it was an interesting crowd. It wasn't your rock and roll. It wasn't like Madison Square Garden, which was next door, but. It was interesting because the comics telling their jokes, and obviously Donald Trump is very popular among comics, and you got the troops there, and there was it was interesting. We didn't get any of that, but they raised a lot of money, and it was cool. Short, we played like a half an hour. It was like boom, it was over. So, but just happy to be part of it.
Sure, and as I'm sure we've got a lot of Chili Peppers fans in the audience, what's next for you guys that you can tell us about?
We're going to work on getting that concert on the moon. That's it. We'll do our training and weightlessness and play the drums upside down or whatever. No, we just finished about a 16-month tour and a couple weeks ago, and we're going to take a little well-needed nap, a long series of short naps. We're good nappers, and then do something next year. Yeah, everybody's gonna recharge, and when I said I could see you next year last night. Okay, but I think it's time to take a little break. Balance is important in your life, as everybody knows. So we've been working a lot. It's been great, though. We're so fortunate, so grateful. People come see us and support our band and our music and everything. So, we want to come up with some new stuff and go to the moon.
Very cool. I'm going to open up the floor to some audience questions now.
Yeah. Hey, Moon Man, what's up?
None, man. What's it called? My question is, when can we expect a Landmarks Live in concert from the Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
And what venue besides the Moon, obviously, would you want to do?
Good question. Yeah, I'm not. I hate doing this, but I can't really say. But we're gonna do one. Yeah, and it probably will be next year. We're talking about going somewhere that a lot of American bands can't go. So my person's just going, don't talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna do one. Chili Peppers are definitely gonna do one. I will not be the host of that one. I'm not hosting. No, I mean, we'll have somebody else. Maybe, yeah. You'll do it. You come. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be doing one for sure. Yep. Anybody else? No.
Hey, Chad. You're one of the baddest drummers ever.
You're so smart and handsome and powerful, man.
Thank you.
Good
in
taste.
One of the greatest bands of all time, and you've worked with some phenomenal artists. Are there any other artists that you would love to work with?
You. Is that entirely possible? Is that a ring on your hand or what?
Yes, that is a ring.
Wow. I did not want to get hit with that. Even fist pumped with that. That's awesome. I've been so fortunate. What's your name?
Jeremy.
I've been really fortunate to play with a lot of different musicians and you know, people like Johnny Cash and Dixie Chicks and Wu-Tang Clan and gosh, you know, lots of different bands and different artists. So often a guy that produces a lot of our records, Rick Rubin, will call me up. He's also I live in Malibu and he's my neighbor and his studio is right around the corner. And I think maybe it's more for convenience, as he knows I can just show up in like 5 minutes. But I've been lucky to work with a lot of people that he works with. If he needs a band or for an artist, he'll call me up. So I've had really great experiences. You know, I'm waiting for him to call me up now that I got some time off. So maybe something cool will come down the pike. But I'd like to play with when I was growing up, Led Zeppelin was my favorite band. So I don't know if they're gonna ever reform in any way or not, but that would be one of my I would love to play with the guys from Led Zeppelin.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Keep your fingers crossed. Call Jimmy Page for me. Threaten him with that ring.
I think we've got time for one more from the audience.
Hey, Chad. Been a fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers for as long as I can remember. I was just wondering, what is the key to like maintaining longevity for a band such as the Chili Peppers or even the Foo Fighters?
I can't speak for the Foo Fighters, but with the Chili Peppers, God, you know, it's funny. You start a band, and we were really young. And I joined the group in 1988, and they started in 1983 when they were like 21 or 22 years old. So you're just a kid, you know, and you find some like-minded other kids, and you start playing, and there was no preconceived, oh, we're going to do a band because we want to be on TV, or it's kind of this culture now is there's, it's a little different, I think, than way back in the 80s. But, you know, first and foremost, we do it because we love it. And I've played the drums and music since I was 7 years old, so it's always what I've loved to do, and I'm so lucky to find my passion in an early age, and likewise with my bandmates, and maybe not that early, but certainly as teenagers. And then, you know, if you love something, you're going to want to do it. And if that's your passion, you find your passion at an early age, you just, you know, you want to do that. So once you're lucky to find that, and the chemistry of any band, like a team, is so important. And we've had different band members, and we've been together for 34 years or whatever it is. But it's crazy to me that I would have never thought in 1988, like, oh, yeah, I'd be sitting here, and the band would made 11 records, and we've been all over the world, and everything is amazing to me. It still blows my mind if people come see us play like they do. But we do it, we have a common goal, you know, of making this music, and for some reason, when we get together in a room, there is this thing that happens, and we make music that connects with people. First of all, foremost, it connects with us because we do it because we're honest about it, and it's from our hearts, and it's real and authentic. And I think that's one of the reasons it connects with other people. But, you know, yeah, there's ups and downs and everything in life. You know, we just happen to be a band, and people will hear about it more. But for the most part, there is that common goal of doing this thing, this sacred thing of playing music, and the other things that happen, and you just try to navigate through them as anyone in any relationship. It's like being married to your brothers, and you know, you spend so much time together, and it's gonna happen. Passionate people that are creative, you know, it happens all the time. But just now, when we were younger, it would be like, you know, I'm really, you know, I hate that guy, and I'm not gonna talk to you for 4 days. And you might have to go out and play with him. And then now we like talk it out, you know, we're a little more mature about it, and you know, we realize as you grow up and you don't take things for granted that like what we have is something really, really special. So yeah, it's just you love it, and you don't take it for granted. You're grateful, and you just strive to keep getting better and changing and growing as a musician, as a band, as a person, as a friend, as everything. So I think that's important for any person, and certainly as an artist, to try to keep, you know, taking chances and risks, and we keep doing that. So as long as we keep doing that, we're going to keep being a band. I don't know what else to do. I can do this, but like you know, I'm just kind of winging it over here. Like I'm playing the drums in a band. I know that, and I love it. Maybe more than ever. More than even when I was a little kid in my bedroom playing with records or whatever. You know, the more life experiences you get, the I don't know. For me, I was just always thirsty for knowledge and trying to get better and change. And I don't know. You're looking at the luckiest guy in the world right here. I'll tell you that. Pretty good. I want to be on Larry David's show. I just think it's fucking amazing. That guy cracks me up. Have you seen any of his new shows?
Yeah, I have. I saw the first episode.
Unbelievable.
It's great.
Unbelievable. Anyway, yeah. So that was long-winded. Sorry, but yeah. Somehow we've managed to stay together, and like I say, as long as we keep doing it for the right reasons, we'll keep going.
Well, I think that wraps our time. Check out the premiere of Foo Fighters.
There it is.
Check it out on Friday.
Friday.
Yep, on Friday, PBS.
PBS.
And give it up for Chad Smith.
Thank you all for coming.